the people had, were talking about, and getting to a place of acknowledgement of their progress. You find all sorts of people say all sorts of things, but 95% of the people will appreciate what you said because they have real struggles.
Sheikh, I heard that lecture. And what I heard,
Allahu Akbar.
what I heard was this. What I heard from you, you're trying to say to our sisters. Sisters, now I'm paraphrasing and understanding what you're trying to say.
What you understood from what I said.
Yes, exactly. Being born in the West, obviously I studied overseas and East and West, understanding what's happening in the da'wah field and how sisters are being approached about their deen and their covering and all of that. What I heard Mufti Menk saying is, sisters, hijab is fard. We all know that. And I know that you love the Quran and you want to follow Islam. And that you will hear so many different approaches from different people on the internet. And I know that it's making you move away because the approach of a lot of these men is harsh to you. So I want to take this with wisdom. I want you to work slowly, step by step, and inshallah improve on yourself. As for those who are talking too much, if it's affecting you, don't listen to them. What matters to you is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Correct.
So long as Allah is pleased with you, then you think about that and do that. As for the people, if it's affecting you to move away, no, don't listen to them.
Correct.
But listen to what Allah is saying and ignore the other people's words if they are hurting you and making you move away. This, as Allah says, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal maw'idati al hasana." Call to the path of your Lord with wisdom and with goodly advice. This is what I heard from you. But not everybody can hear that unless you understand the people.
One problem also that we're facing, I thought of it while you were talking, is the new clips that you have on social media sometimes do not cover the topic. So it's a little bite of what you said, a few seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, sometimes 2 minutes.
Important point.
So the people who are refuting you, they write, they publish articles, they write page upon page, book upon book against a clip, claiming that you said this, but they didn't bother or make an effort to go and listen to the entire talk, where it was delivered, who were being addressed, and what was the entire context. If they bothered to listen to the 20, 30 minutes, they would appreciate, if they had a clean heart. Unfortunately, today you have these guys who hold a PhD in refutations. And what they do is they sit, they listen to a clip, and they create content in order to whatever. I pity them again because they're not experts in the da'wah. They haven't really achieved much besides refuting others. And then the worst part is they'll take a clip of someone who might have said, oh, this is how it should be, from one of the scholars, and they say, oh, this guy is like this and that guy. They wasted their whole life talking about someone else. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never make us from that party.
Sheikh, all my teachers, scholars and mashayikh, when they talk about advising someone, they always say advise them and find out first of all the full picture. And you don't advise them in public or do things in a way where you draw the attention to yourself. The idea is to love for your brother what you love for yourself. And ad-din al-munasaha. Deen is about advising. You've got to advise in a wisdom and a way that works. In a way that keeps the dignity of your brother as well. And in a way that you are assisting the da'wah, that it's going to work. Now, you mentioned something amazing, and that's about TikTok, and that annoys me, subhanAllah, several times, whether it's Muslims or non-Muslims. They'll listen to a little tiny bit. You've got a clip which is about 30 seconds. They'll probably listen to 2 seconds of that, and then make a comment. SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask people what they write. I made one, for example, once about what men like in women, what women like in men. And someone had put only half of it, what men like in women. Immediately you see the people, what about the women? What about this? What about that? And you say, well, have you listened to the whole thing yet? Or anything? So, I think tabayyanu and make sure you read and clarify and verify the full picture before we jump to conclusions.
So many times I feel like commenting, and the qualities we have make us stay away from commenting, because it's okay, excuse them. I don't want to become ugly because of your ugliness. I just leave it. But so many times I'm tempted to say something, just leave it.
Subhanallah. Shaykhna, in the field of da'wah, you've been speaking to a lot of youth. As soon as they see you, they love to come and sit with you. You have this thing called the qabool, people accepting you.
May Allah grant that to us.
Alhamdulillah. Ask Allah to make you, as we assume of you, and even better. What do you think the youth these days are yearning for the most? What do you think they're lacking?
A lot of what is happening in the world today, politically, and the crises, the wars, the challenges, the famine, the disasters, a lot of this is making people realize the importance of their connection with Allah. It's making the non-Muslims come towards what is the truth, It's making the Muslims realize that they need to come closer and closer to Allah. And so at this moment we have the greatest opportunity to address this matter, to help the youth. They are desperately in need of a breath of fresh air with that guidance. So those who are, causing an issue or a disservice to Islam are the ones who are doing all the bickering and all the pointing and all the hurtful abuse and so on, because they're just chasing the people who are looking for a breath of fresh air away. But the others who encourage them and who are motivating them and trying to fill that gap, those are the ones who Allah is using to do the good job. So I believe we should just occupy ourselves in serving the needs of the Ummah. I've been addressing a major problem that there is in our circles, in the Ummah basically, and that is that of unmarried women who are looking for spouses. It might sound random, but it is bigger than you think it is. If you take a careful look and you have in your circles a little bit of an eye on this matter and this problem, you would realize how big it is. Who is speaking to divorced women, widows, those who might have a problem trying to get married, and helping them to actually do that? Wallahi, it's a crisis. Wallahi,
Singlehood is a crisis.
Singlehood, especially among the sisters. It is among some brothers as well, but among the sisters, it's more of concern. And then the families make it difficult, and they set the bar so high, and it becomes difficult. And wallahi, that's a major thing. I think that we sometimes don't address this matter enough. You know, talk about the widows who are struggling. Talk about those who are divorced. Sometimes they're divorced, obviously it doesn't make them bad. Sometimes that was the only thing that they could have gone through. I mean, yes, every single divorce has its own reasoning and so on, but I'm talking generally. We help these people up. That's just one crisis in the Ummah. We have so many more. We have those who are disabled, those who are challenged, those who are disadvantaged in one way or another. Instead of sitting and refuting people, do something. You know, why don't you start up something to cater for people who are disadvantaged, people who have some form of problem? You help them in the problem. But no, some people just choose, sit back, I don't want to work, and I don't want people who are working to work either. I'm going to attack them, and I'm just going to sit and chill. It's a different thing if you're doing a humongous job, you know, and then you want to say, brother, what you're doing is wrong. I don't condone that, but maybe you're doing a better job, but you're not even doing a job. You don't even know how to do the job. It's like a guy sitting back and telling the mechanic, you know what, you don't know how to repair the car, but he doesn't know a thing. He doesn't even know how to lift a spanner. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for the Ummah.
I remember a good Sheikh who I know about once met Sheikh Kishk, if you ever heard of Sheikh Kishk, Allah yarhamu, from Egypt. And Sheikh Kishk had said something, and this Sheikh said to him, it was still new, said, what you said is wrong and it's weak hadith and so on. And the Sheikh said to him something important. He said, ta'allam qabla an tunkir. Go and learn first of all and gain this knowledge, understand the whole area before you oppose. And truly he went. And knowledge is not just knowledge, this is wisdom and understanding people, as you've been doing, Sheikhna. Sheikh, you know, I've been in the school system for a very long time, as I said before. And I see that young people have an identity crisis. And I see that those who have identity crisis, there's dysfunctional families, the relationship between the father and mother and the children, the involvement in children's lives, the communication. Sometimes if I see, for example, a student reach year 11 and still they're asking me about istinja, or they're asking me about ghusl, boys and girls, I wonder to myself, where is the communication relationship with their parents? You mentioned before that singlehood and marriage is a problem because parents are not helping much. I once heard a really good lecture from you, Sheikh, and it resonated with a lot of young people, advising the parents in how to allow their children to open up and talk about these matters. What do you advise the parents? How should they communicate with their parents about this? Do you advise them to open up topics about sexuality, for example, and marriage and love and liking?
Firstly, I believe that as parents, we must invest in our children. If we don't invest, why did we have those children? So number one is time. Even if you're just around, the fact that you're there. Number two is to try to communicate, to be there to help them, to play with them, to show them, to guide them, communicate. It wouldn't be easy for me to say, speak to them about these taboo topics, but in today's world, I have to say you must speak to them about it, or get someone to talk to them about it, because they will definitely get it from somewhere else in the wrong narrative. And in order to avoid that, you are going to need to address this matter. I try to speak about these things with a little bit of ease. You just throw it in as though it's okay, because trust me, the children of today know much more than you think they know when they're only 5 years old. They pretend like they know nothing. They've heard about everything that we only learned when we were 15. And they can give you the details of it. And the embarrassing details, they can just rattle it out to you to say, no, don't try and fool me. You know? So we look like fools to them when we're trying to duck and dive. Don't do that. Get into the topic, talk to them. It doesn't have to be so deep and so often, but they just need to know my dad spoke to me about this, or mom spoke to me, depending on how you want to set it up in your own home, male to female, or whatever. And for as long as they know, when they have an issue, you are the first to go to. Many parents, the children are so frightened of them, even in the modern world, even in the Western countries, that when they have an issue, the parent is the last person they would go to. They tell us, please don't mention this. I want anonymity. I don't want. I can speak to your parent, I would say. They would say, no, please don't do that. You'd break me. You'd do this. My father's going to kill me, whatever they say. So I wonder that, Allah's going to ask you, كلكم راع كلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. You're all shepherds, you're all responsible for your flock. Here's your flock running away from you, scared of you, frightened of you. How could you do that? When you have, that example is so perfect about the flock, that if there are sheep, one sheep is going away, you should be having sleepless nights, but bring it in, feed them, be with them, no matter what. So I always go out of my way to greet the young, and then the teenagers. Even the little children, if you ever watch me carefully, I would go out of my way to give them time, because my son, as he grew up, one of my sons, as he grew up, he used to say, I don't want to come there. I said, but why? Come with me. He says, you know what? I'm like non-existent. And these are sheikhs sometimes that they interact with. And the youngsters saying, you know what? They just ignored me like I wasn't even there. In my mind, I'm thinking, but you're just a child. But then I think, let me tell some of my colleagues, you know what? Give these kids a bit of importance.
Yes.
Greet them. That's the only thing they want from you.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, it could change their lives, because they've looked up to you. That's one of the reasons why when someone says, Sheikh, can I have a photo with you? I try not to deny it. I know it's very difficult. I know sometimes you have to make a plan, you have someone. And look, it may not be ideal, but sometimes you have a woman there. I have certain rules and regulations. Like I said, it may not be ideal. There could be people saying, no, Sheikh, you shouldn't even be doing that at all. But look, when someone's really been impacted by you all their lives, so many things have changed. One day they suddenly see you. In today's urf, they want to capture the moment, nothing more. It's captured. There's no khalwa, meaning there's no seclusion. You're not with them alone. It's in full view of the public. Everyone is there, and they want to have the opportunity to say, you know what, I actually met this person who's my teacher, who taught me knowingly, unknowingly for decades or for a long time. I think to deny them that would probably be more difficult for them to digest at times.